Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to talk about our favorite topic today, which is ICE. And we're just going to jump right into it. This is from ABC News. Los Angeles County declares state of emergency over immigration raids. Los Angeles County officials voted on Tuesday to declare a state of emergency over ongoing federal immigration raids. The proclamation gives the county the power to assist residents they say have been impacted financially by immigration and custom enforcement ICE action. The declaration was introduced by County Supervisor Lindsay P. Horvath and Janice Hahn and passed by a 4-1 vote, with Supervisor Catherine Barger opposing. Los Angeles County is home over 3 million immigrants, according to Supervisor, who said that ICE raids have caused, quote, caused widespread fear and led to decreased attendance at workplaces, disruption of local economies, and strain on critical services such as schools, hospitals, and places of worship. So let me pause there real quick. I hate that ABC News is a mouthpiece for the left, and this is just pure propaganda. The reason I say that is because look at the blanket statement that they use over here. They say 3 million immigrants. Love the language, right? They're incorporating everybody into that statement. So if you are here legally and you're a legal immigrant, they're trying to say that it affects them, which it does not. So they're talking about the people that are here illegally, because legal residents, legal immigrants, U.S. citizens are not impacted by this. This is all bullcrap. So I'm just going to call a spade here. But let's keep going. Rent relief for tenants who have fallen behind as a result of ICE raids and money for legal aid and other services among the provisions in the declaration. The vote on Tuesday allows county supervisors to mobilize resources, request state and federal financial assistance to respond to the impacts of the raids, and expedite contracting to addressing the crisis. What's happening in the communities is an emergency, and Los Angeles County is treating it like one, said Hovarth. And press release. Quote, declaring a local emergency ensures the full weight of the county government is aligned to support our immigrant communities who are being targeted by federal actions, end quote. Notice again the language. So again, they're talking about immigrants in the communities. Again, they're not talking about the ones that are here legally. These are people that are impacted by this, that are illegal, who have orders of deportation to vacate. And so they want to keep these people here because they want to continue to have them vote blue, which they're not even allowed to vote in our election, but yet they've been getting caught up, showing proof that you've had people here illegally who have been voting in our election. ICE restarted in Los Angeles early June, prompting demonstrations that at times turned violent, while President Donald Trump deportation push was initially said to center around undocumented immigrants with criminal records. And ABC analysts of data in July showed that the administration had arrested an increased number of migrants with no criminal convictions. False. And why is that false? Entering the U.S. illegally can fall under different codes, but the primary one for unauthorized entry is 8 U.S.C. 1325, improper entry by an alien, which is, and then you also have 8 U.S.C. 1326, re-entry after deportation. So 8 U.S.C. 8 U.S.C. 1325, improper entry by an alien. This code covers entering the U.S. at an unauthorized time or place, excluding examination or misrepresenting facts or to gain entry. A first offense is a misdemeanor punishable by fines and or imprisonment up to 6 months. The 8 U.S.C. 1326, re-entry of removed aliens. This is a felony for anyone who has been previously deported or removed from the U.S. and then re-enters without authorization. This offense can lead to more severe penalties, including longer prison sentences. So you have those two codes for people coming into our country, which already is illegal, which means they've already committed a crime. You also have code 8 U.S.C. 1324, and this one has to do with bringing in and harboring certain aliens. This code makes it a crime for anyone to smuggle, transport, or harbor unauthorized aliens within the U.S. or to encourage them to enter the U.S. without authorization. So you have those three specific codes that tell you that it is illegal. It is a crime. So again, you gotta love their verbiage here because they are misrepresenting the truth. But let's move on. For months, families have lived under the threat and workers have been taken from jobs. Sites Horvath continued, quote, "This proclamation is about action and speed. It allows us to move faster and coordinate better and use every tool available to protect and stabilize our communities. We will continue to stand with our immigrant neighbors today and for as long as it takes. The emergency declaration will remain in effect until terminated by the board according to the release." So you saw that? Yep. They basically are just playing a lot of semantic games there by actually kind of conflating the truth. And they're purposely using certain language so that you can kind of gain sympathy for these people when it's not necessary. These people broke the law, and it's not including if they broke it here in the United States, like them crossing, they already broke the law. And then if they committed a crime while in the U.S., while being illegal, it makes it even a bigger crime. But right now, what Trump was focusing on was the actual worst of the worst. He wanted to get people out that were here illegally, but that were also, like the ones that were, smuggling fentanyl, the traffickers, the people that were rapists, and the people that were murkers, and people that assaulted people, like really bad people, okay? Like the pedos and stuff like that. And so, yes, he was going for the worst, but you know what the problem here is? And, again, context matters. So you have people like Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker of Illinois who did not go based off the laws. And remember, federal law, according to Article 6, it supersedes state laws. So it is a federal law for ICE to go and pick up these illegals if they have deportation status, or they presume somebody might not be here legally and they can't prove that they're allowed to be here legally. Goodbye, kick rocks. But the thing is that if Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker just allowed ICE to just go pick them up when they gave them this order saying, "Hey, I have this criminal that I need to pick up, he's in your jail, can you hold him for me?" And if they would have said sure, there would be no issues. They wouldn't be going into the communities. But because they said, "Nah, we're not going to help you, we're just going to release them into the wild," and it is what it is, And then they want to cry foul saying, "Oh my God, they're going into the communities. They're terrorizing people." Well, this wouldn't have happened had you just let them pick them up from the jail, now would it? Y'all know what you're doing. They're just doing it because they want votes. That's it. They want to sow fear into people because they want these people to continue to vote blue, because they want to say, "Hey, look at me. We're your saviors. We're here to help you." How does that work out for y'all community? And I'm asking a serious question, especially to the Black community. How many years have y'all been asking for reparations? And they're always dangling that carrot in front of y'all saying like, "Hey, yeah, we're going to totally give you guys reparations. We got to look into it." And then, "Nah, we're not going to do it. We're just kidding. But thanks for the vote, yo." When are you guys going to learn that these people are not going to do it? They're just blowing smoke up your butt, But that's why these people keep getting voted in, because people just keep giving them chance after chance and not learning from their first mistake. So let's go on and continue with this video. This is in regards to the Mexican gangs offering up to 50K bounties for ICE agents. Assassination in U.S. DHS says, and this is from Fox News. Now, keep in mind, this is escalating, because if you've watched my previous videos, it started with little things here and there, and it's just continuing to escalate. So, personally, I think we're headed for a civil war if we're already not there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but let's go on.
Says Facebook has removed the page that was being used to target ICE agents in Chicago. The move comes as the DHS reveals cartels have issued bounties for hits on officers. Griff Jenkins joins us from Washington with the latest on this story. Griff, what do you know?
Well, good morning, Lawrence. I know the threat to ICE and federal immigration law enforcement has never been higher. DHS says there's now this tiered bounty system set up by Mexican cartels. Take a look. They're offering $2,000 for gathering intelligence or doxing immigration agents, $5 to $10 grand for kidnapping of standard ICE officers, and up to $50,000 for the assassination of a high-ranking officer. This after an alleged Latin Kings gang member is accused of putting a bounty on Border Patrol's Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino. $2,000 on info on him, $10,000 if you can, quote, take him down. Now, the gang member's attorney denies any ties to the Latin Kings and paints the man as a, quote, hardworking family man, but Chief Bovino refutes that claim.
again, you see how they like to play these word games with you. First, you had a lot of people, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because I actually explained to my mother-in-law about this, because she had said the same thing about the Maryland dad, and I had explained to her why he was not the Maryland dad, because they like to pull at your heartstrings and play these word games. And I had explained to her, just because he lived in Maryland doesn't make him a Maryland dad. He's not a U.S. citizen. I'm like, this is why they use specific wording so that they can't be sued to oblivion for lying to people. But they are. They're manipulating people because that guy was an MS-13 gangbanger. He actually has actual video footage of him trafficking people, which, again, remember, 8 USC 1324 is a law that's being broken because that has to do with smuggling people in and trafficking. Then you also have him, aside from being him a gangbanger, he was also a wife beater. His wife actually had petitioned the court for an order of protection against him because of that. And that's the same one that was boohoo whining about him being taken. But hey, that's what I'm telling y'all. They use like these little semantic games of words. Like now they're trying to say that this Lion King dad is, he's the Illinois dad. He was a soccer dad. And it's like, yeah, I've known gangbangers, their dads, and they had a 9 to 5, but they were gangbangers and they did some shady shit on the side too. Sorry for cussing, but they did some shady stuff, and it didn't mean that they weren't criminals or breaking laws. Like, y'all are just ridiculous.
And says things are actually getting worse.
Griff, the Latin Kings are associated with drug cartels, i.e. terrorist organizations. So those bounties remain and, in fact, have actually increased because of this, quote, hardworking man. It's unbelievable.
Meanwhile, in the wake of anti-ICE riots in places like Chicago and Portland, AG Bondi announcing Facebook has removed an ICE spotting group targeting officers. She writes on X, the wave of violence against ICE has been driven by online apps and social media campaigns designed to put ICE officers at risk just for doing their jobs. The Department of Justice will continue engaging tech companies to eliminate platforms where radicals can incite imminent violence against federal law enforcement. Now, a spokesperson for Facebook's parent company, Meta, says, quote, this group was removed for violating our policies against coordinated harm. All of this, Lawrence, comes as you know, ICE continues to face a more than 1,000% increase in assaults. Lawrence?
So I'm curious, Griff, this group, obviously it's the cartel. Is it the part of the cartel that's here in the United States, or are they doing this from foreign land?
Well, it's stemming from Mexican cartels, according to DHS, Lawrence. But as you well know, you've been on the streets of Chicago. They have multiple gangs in Los Angeles, in Boston, and places where ICE has tried to carry it out. And what's remarkable, Lawrence, about what's happening in Chicago, and that's where Bovino had that bounty put on his head, is that Governor Pritzker did an interview yesterday now threatening to potentially prosecute ICE officers for carrying out federal law enforcement by removing convicted murderers, rapists, gang members that are here illegally in the country. Lawrence?
Well, also, Griff, you have a federal judge that said that they could not have that gate or that fence there, which was there to protect those officers. They already have to have counter snipers on the roofs now because of the threat from high. Now they have to worry about it from low.
Yeah, it's a legal battle about simply putting up fencing to protect an ICE facility where when they are apprehending violent criminal illegal aliens, they take them to this facility in Broadview, Illinois to process them. But yet we've seen night after night the violence. And let's not forget that Mayor Brandon Johnson has claimed to be the resistance leader in getting those protesters to come out. All of this after we just spent a few weeks ago talking about the deadly shooting at a similar ICE facility down in Dallas. Lawrence?
It's unbelievable. Something has to give. Great job, Griff.
So, personally, I don't know where the line in the sand is. I keep kind of going over this stuff over and over, and especially because I watch a lot of videos and I watch a lot of lives where I'm watching these protests popping off left and right, and we're going to use protests lightly. I just watch these videos and I keep thinking, like, is this the line? You look at the movie like V for Vendetta, for example, and when in the movie when the cop, murks the little girl, you wonder like, and that's when like the crowd goes crazy and they start turning on the cops and stuff like that, and you're wondering like, where is that line in the sand? Because honestly, when I look back at everything that's happened from, George Floyd riots, you had the Summer of Love 2.0, you had the Chaz Chop, you had the murking of, like a MAGA supporter, you had, them trying to assassinate Donald Trump, several times, like 3 times, I believe it was. And then you had, the stuff that they're doing to ICE, you had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's like, and then you had them calling for the assassination of, I believe it was Justice Kavanaugh. And it's like, where's the line? Like, where is the off ramp here? Because I feel like right now we're at the point of no return. Like, there's no way that we can turn this around. As much as I would love for us to turn this around, but you got to wonder where that line is in the sand, where people are going to be like saying, I had enough. Like, it's getting so like crazy, because if you're watching my videos, you've seen how it's constantly escalating. Like, every single day, it feels like it's a new thing. Like, sometimes I dread looking at my phone because I'll get these notifications going bing, bing, and telling me like, oh, there's a new escalation. Oh, it just escalated again. And it's like, I'm giving the right a lot of credit, because they're trying, because they're law-abiding citizens. So they're literally trying to hold the line and not react, and not give in to that reaction of wanting to do anything. And they're trying to be the good person. And it's like, again, from the movie from V for Vendetta, you had that one scene. That was the line that was crossed. That was the pivotal moment. That was the Black Swan event. And you got to wonder, when are we going to see that? Because there is going to be a flashpoint. And I'm so like wondering when that's going to happen, because it's terrifying to know that we're going to end up there, because I only see us on one path at this point, and I don't know what we're supposed to do. We definitely are trying not to escalate. We're trying not to do that. And all Trump is doing is following the law of the land, and you had Obama, known as a deporter in chief, who deported way more people than Trump. He created the kids in cages, and people are in an uproar because of Trump, but Obama was doing this. He deported a lot more people. Why weren't people out there doing what they're doing to Trump? Why weren't they doing this to Obama? So I don't know. I at this point, I'm kind of lost for words, because I feel like we're right there. Like, you could literally like see the line right in front of you, and it's like, it's just gonna take one little push, and yeah, se acabó todo. That means everything's done. Like, all hell's gonna break loose. So let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Do you think we're already headed for a civil war? Do you think we're there? And what do you think is gonna be the thing that pushes us over that line? Do you think there is like any way back? Let me know your thoughts. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that notification bell. Till next time, guys.